Well, before we get started on relative and absolute paths, a little bit of an idea of where we're headed with some of this stuff. There's a command ps that you can use to get processes, and it'll show the current processes you're running, but you might want to do ps for all the processes in the system. So we'll pass it an ef flag, and it gives you a big long list of processes. You might be looking for, you want to filter this list to get something out of it, like all the ones that are ZSH. So grep finds patterns, so we'll just pick the ones that are ZSH. But we don't want the grep in that list. We want to take that one out, so let's remove that. Grep minus v reverses the filter and finds everything that doesn't match. So let's put in grep. Now we have all of the ZSHs that are not the grep command. And let's say that we really want this second column over here. The second column is that one right there that starts with that set of numbers, because that's the process IDs. Okay, so let's put that through awk, and let's get the second column. And I can reduce something that was really complicated and hard to understand in just a second down to just, I want that column of data out of it. Now, it's easy to see how suddenly this can be combined together into making things. So let's go back to our absolute paths and let's see what we can do with relative and absolute paths. Now, I'm currently in my home directory, but let's switch over to where the class is. And there's some stuff that I might want. I could have a absolute path where I say ls/user. Absolute means it starts with slash. And you can see that this is a pretty long path to get to lectures. Or I can just go one directory up, because currently I'm in lectures, lecture 26. I can use a relative path of ... and go up one directory. So, depending on how you want to reference things, you can reference from your current position. And let's say that I create a directory. There's a command to do that, mkdir. And it's currently empty, sort of. There's a couple files that it skips over. And there's a ... and ... So every directory always has these ... and ... files. And if I want to see the long listing and what the permissions are, I can get the long listing on that directory of videos that I just created. Now, if I create some file that I want to have there, let's just say ls out, and let's just create a file, tmp. And it's in the wrong directory. Let's move it into videos. And we'll also move our current directory into videos. Okay, now we've made a file and it has a particular set of permissions. It's not executable. If you want to edit that file, I normally use VI. It has lots of good properties. We're probably going to talk some about VI, but you can edit text files with VI. So there's lots of capabilities. We can see what's in it. Now, relative paths, we're going to use a file that is one of our 7-segment displays. And I want to copy that into the current directory where this lecture is. Okay, so I now have that file in here. Now the SVG file, I'm going to edit it, show you what's in it. We're going to manipulate it and see if we can do some things to it. But this is the beginning of being able to use this entire system, this language, and its capabilities. Now, whenever I have files, I can say, first of all, you can use more than one file in lots of places. And let's say that I want to have two different files, a.text and b.text. Almost all Unix commands take more than one file. If I don't want to bother typing out the different file names, I could say cat star.txt, and I can get both a.text. Now, if you use echo, you can see what that star.txt, the effect of it is that it just goes out, and this is the shell replacing it, not the command, and it fills in all of these wildcards so that you can access more than one thing at once. If you want to know lots and lots of details about what's happening with the shell, do man bash. And you'll find out that, yes, I'm going through the screenfuls, that there is a lot about the shell. Pages and pages and pages of information on what the shell does and how you can run things. Now, not everything runs as you wait for it. There are options in the shell to do stuff like that, but hopefully we're going to work through enough that you can use the command line shell and become reasonably expert in it. Now, I called those a.text and b.text, and we have this image file, 7seg. If I open it, it'll use the default and bring up some piece of code, in this case, a browser, so you know what's in it. Sort of. Let's take a closer look at that in a little bit.